Hello, Nilo here, and welcome back to Project Rebuilding the Man. We're continuing on in our series of becoming unstuck in life, and this one is going to hit hard today, but it will propel you forward in the right way. We are covering why your next relationship should not be your first goal when rebuilding your life. If you're a man who's gone through divorce, separation, job loss, or some major life event, resist the urge to immediately jump back onto the saddle. I want to tell you something that may completely change the way you rebuild your life, and I wish I had learned it sooner. And within our community, other men that I've spoken to also agree that there's something greater at stake, especially as you start to value your time and the lessons learned that brought you to your painful circumstances, but now how to avoid them in the future. Getting into another relationship after a life event sounds appealing, distracting, and oftentimes soothing. Add to it that the presence of social media and dating apps, they prey on the lonely and broken, and to subconsciously tell you that emptiness and isolation is wrong and that you need someone to fill that hole. It's everywhere, making you feel that there is something wrong with you. This is the first myth. There is nothing wrong with you. It is a learning process of becoming more of who you want to be. Dating apps tell you to meet someone new and keep you hooked. That's how they make money. This is a form of addiction to attention and external validation. It plays on the mind and continues to reinforce a scarcity mindset that you need to settle for who likes you versus thinking in an abundance mindset that when you're ready, the right person will show up. But trust me, before we are done here today, there will be time for all things. First, you must confront your own loneliness and change the story it tells you. And that it is to understand that loneliness and love are not the same thing. Now, let me say this again, gentlemen. Loneliness and love are not the same thing, meaning that you can be lonely and still be in love, or you can feel emotionally full and not be in love with someone. And when we're emotionally starving, we often make the mistake of attention for healing. At Project Rebuilding the Man, I believe something very different. Before you build another romantic relationship, build a better relationship with yourself. There's a lot to do here, such as build your home, build your finances, build your faith, build your purpose. And what this video is all about today, is build your tribe with a sense of brotherhood. Let's unpack this relationship concept in the Forge. The Forge is hot, we've got our tools and the raw materials to craft ourselves into a stronger version of what we will become. Unstoppable, wiser, stronger, independent, and creating a frame to last a lifetime. So guys, grab a pen, paper, and your phone, or take the time to take some notes, pay attention, and be honest with yourself to gain the clarity you need to level up your life. I have something special for you if you stay to the end to help guide you through your journey, and I hope it helps. I want to share a little bit of my own story. One of the hardest things that I had to face was coming out of a long marriage that ended in divorce and experiencing this, which I did not understand at the time was my own loss of identity. This is absolutely real, gentlemen. That identity was tied to and formed over years based on a community of family for which is where I ultimately derived my self-worth and value. And once that was gone, I was lost, thinking I was not enough. Even after years of rebuilding my life with a renewed identity surrounding a better mind, body, spiritual transformation, I still kind of felt alone and not knowing what to do next, because this is a process of transformation. I didn't realize at the time that I was at a turning point. We usually don't know how close we are to that breakthrough until we made it through, and only then do we realize the work that was done had prepared us to take that next crucial step forward. Then suddenly, the light shines bright and it all starts to make sense. My point here is that it can be very difficult to readjust into relationships that you want to have because you first have to get used to the new you. The new you should contain an abundance and growth mindset filled with courage, stability, and a passion for the things you want to achieve. That will also influence who you want to have in your life once you get used to the man in the mirror. To cement this understanding, we need a brief history lesson about how men used to build relationships. Humans were never designed to walk alone. From the very beginning of civilization, people survived because of community. Hunters hunted together. Villages protected one another. Families raised children together. Tradesmen taught apprentices. Faith communities carried people through hardship. And guess what? Even today, the happiest people in the world rarely have the most money. They usually have the strongest relationships that they invested in over time. This is the essence of Project Rebuilding the Man. For him to not only rebuild himself into a more self-aware, strong, and compassionate man, but to contribute into a society of others where his leadership and presence is respected and valued. Now, going back to the history lesson, in the days of old, men worked, and we defined our sense of worth based on what we did for others in trade and provision for our families. We were men in motion. Families stuck together based on the work they did to keep the household together, safe, clothed, and fed. No different than today. But what is different is that men operated in tribes and had to create and build the communities in which they lived. There was reliance on each other to support, develop, and hone their skills to continue to provide their villages so that their families could survive and also thrive. The cost of not doing that would be extreme and could lead to a loss of life. So the respect and support of the village was absolutely earned. Men had to learn from other men to be productive and learn the techniques to complete a certain task or achieve a goal from the group within the tribe. So it is no wonder why we are so effed up now. We live in a world where those attributes of men are not valued in the same way. Men are valued by ever-changing conditions tied to, at times, counterintuitive, something that is not in its own nature. For instance, men can be valued based on their ability to create wealth, but you can't be an asshole at the same time. Be strong, but not be egotistical. Be emotional, but don't be too much of a simp. Be a protector, but not be aggressive. Be empathetic, but don't take things too seriously. Ultimately, be all things to all people. Stack onto that the convenience of technology to make life easier. All of this created a world of impatient people. It has created people with a lack of interpersonal and social skills. It has created people that crave immediate gratification, that want praise and recognition. And most of all, the story ends with the saying that you should get everything that your heart desires and that you will live happily ever after. This is a real lie. You only get what you work for and what you mirror. You realize its depth and how hard you had to work for it. You're not going to find that in someone else until you have it for yourself. Why men become isolated? I don't think society talks enough about this. Many men don't realize how much of their social world disappeared. Let's use divorce as an example. Men lose mutual friends, neighbors, in-laws, church relationships, daily routines, their children's activities, even friendships that quietly faded over the years because the marriage became their main focus and their social life. Ultimately, their identity, which was attached to these people, has now changed, feeling lost, isolated, and deeply needing for reconnection of any kind. Then one day, the man looks around and realizes he doesn't have anyone to call. And that's a dangerous place to be. This happens a lot and can lead into despair, sadness, and a lack of motivation to do anything, and that's why we feel stuck. Men often replace community with one person. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. A man meets a wonderful woman and unknowingly expects her to become his best friend, his therapist, his emotional support, his entertainment. social calendar, accountability partner, spiritual advisor, companion, and his only safe place. No person can carry all of that, not because she's unwilling, but because she's human. And this is not how relationships were designed to be. Here is the cautionary note that I want you to know. Depending on one romantic relationship to meet every emotional need creates enormous pressure on both people. So, what does this mean for you? Before you rebuild a relationship with a woman, rebuild your relationship with people. That becomes one of the foundational principles of Project Rebuilding the Man. I want to challenge you to think differently because you can, and at times you must. Instead of looking for one person who meets every need, build your team. I'm substituting the word team for tribe in this case. Imagine a wheel, you at the hub, the center. Around you are different people serving different roles that you value. Here's an example. A mentor, a brother, you could have a fishing buddy, a workout partner, a financial guy, a church buddy, a neighbor, a coach, a volunteer group, a Bible study, a hobby group, or even a business mastermind. Think about your interests and the kinds of people you want to be around while you are rebuilding yourself. Each relationship gives you something different. Each one allows you to give something back. Healthy relationships aren't just about receiving, they're about contributing. As I've said before in our routines and goals video, there's a lot of power and healing that comes with giving back. And once you're ready for it, you will see its power in who you become, how you feel, and the healing that comes with paying it forward. Another critical part of Project Rebuilding the Man is always to do your best to mirror what you want in this life. You want excellence? Mirror it. If you want honesty and loyalty, mirror it. If you want strength and leadership, then live it. And in this case of friendship, then become the friend you are looking for. This may be the hardest truth of today's video. Most people ask, now that I'm rebuilding my life, where do I find better friends? I think the better question is, what or would I be a great friend to someone else? I think that's a good question, a good place to start. Take time and take stock in what you do and don't do. Do you call people? Check on them. Remember key dates. Do you celebrate promotions or celebrate their key events? Visit them in the hospital. Bring dinner after surgery. Do you pray for them? Offer encouragement. This is what I mean about being the friend you want to have. Your tribe should make you better. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Whether that quote is literally measurable or not, the principle resonates. Our habits, attitudes, and expectations are influenced by the people around us. If everyone around you complains, you'll probably complain. If everyone around you drinks excessively, you'll likely do the same or at least be influenced by the noise that it creates in your new life. If everyone around you is growing, you'll probably grow. Think carefully of the kind of people you want to make space for and choose wisely. Now, here's some practical ways to rebuild your social circle. I know some of you are thinking, I don't even know where to start, Nilo. Give me some points here. I've got you. Just like what we were looking for back in the new routines video, start small. When I was going through my own change, I joined a men's Bible study, and I really was not all that religious at that time or spiritual. But I think the same for you. If you're not spiritual or religious, or if you are, connecting to a local church can offer you sometimes free opportunities to connect to other men. And there's definitely groups there to give you inspiration that brotherhood offers. Other ideas, which are plentiful, include volunteering monthly. You can join Habitat for Humanity to help build homes. You can volunteer in a local community food kitchen. You can help in an animal shelter. You can help others that are less fortunate in your neighborhood. You will be amazed with who you will become through these efforts. Here's some activities you can consider. Joining a hiking club to get some extra exercise and meet some other groups regularly. I've used that Meetup app to find these groups and does help from time to time. You can take a cooking class. If you are on a budget and want to learn how to cook with others, learn some new cuisines and impress your new friends. Bring something new and interesting in your life that you want to share and show a little, or maybe even show off. Coach youth sports. You can look for a sports athletic center near you and see if there are coaching opportunities. They will even provide you with training and give you the rules to coach your team. You might even have an assistant coach, and you can get to know the dads on the team. Join a gym, and as you build your friends, you can invite them to work out with you. You can attend community events, get plugged in on what's going on in your community. There are a few apps out there. I'm sure there's ones in your community where you, depending on where you live. Where I am at, I have nextdoor.com and Meetup. There's links in your community. You can even check out your local library or township. Maybe you have a municipality that that they have a website that may list a parks and recreation page or a regional tourism or events page, and just take a look at the events calendar out there and to give you some ideas. You can attend less expensive plays and performances if you are on a budget, like through your local schools. Plays and festivals are based on the school district. You can take continuing education classes if it suits your mission and purpose. There's a lot out there, guys. Here are some other options for you, but it is not meant to be an exhaustive list. Just know you have opportunities. You can become involved at church, reconnect with an old friend, invite someone to coffee, call one person every week, host a monthly barbecue, poker, or even a football game at your place. Create traditions and involve those who you want to be involved in your life. Don't wait to be invited. Become the inviter. Guys, I know we have options, but the biggest hurdle is that you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It is one of our tools from the Forge. Get some practice with putting yourself out there. I know it sucks and it feels like, why me? Why am I here again? Just stop the mind chatter and go and do it. Push yourself and think about what you are building and that it requires intention and consistent effort. One lesson I've learned, and it took me into my late 40s to realize this, and that is the strongest relationships are built long before you need them. Don't only call people when you're hurting. Celebrate with them, encourage them, serve them, invest in them. And when storms come, you'll already have roots to weather it, to keep building, gentlemen. It becomes the foundation that will carry you for the rest of your life. I would be remiss if I did not mention having a faith perspective of some kind. You will see that in these texts, there's all sorts of examples of brotherhood. Ecclesiastes reminds us two are better than one. If either falls, one helps the other up. Hebrews encourages believers to spur on one another towards love and good works. Jesus himself surrounded himself with disciples. Paul traveled with companions. Even the strongest leaders need community. Strength isn't isolation. Strength is knowing when to walk together. Final challenge. If you're rebuilding your life today, don't make dating your first project. Make becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts healthy relationships your first project. Build your finances, build your faith, build your health, build your home, build your character, and build your purpose. Then build your tribe. Because one day, when the right relationship comes, she won't become your whole world. She'll become part of a life that you've already built, which we will represent in Project Rebuilding the Man as your frame. Maintaining your frame in this sense is a much stronger foundation to stand on. There are no guarantees of how long things will last, but at least you know your frame is there for you, and you did your best to achieve it. Now, if you stayed to this point, I'm glad you did. Here for you is a simple guide called the Rebuilding Pyramid. If this video helped you, please use this guide as a reference point, your anchor. Print it out and keep it as a reminder for you each day if you need it as a source of inspiration towards the new you. I'll leave an attachment to it in the link section of the video for you to download for free. Now, to close this out, if this message encouraged you, subscribe, drop a like, and share it with another man who might need to hear it. I'm Nilo, guys, and this is Project Rebuilding the Man. I'm here for you. We're not just rebuilding life after divorce. We're rebuilding character, purpose, faith, brotherhood, and becoming the kind of men our children, families, communities, and future relationships deserve. And remember, building the man isn't about becoming someone new. It's rediscovering the man God created you to become. Project Rebuilding the Man is that we're not rebuilding your life. We're rebuilding the man who builds the life. Now, see you next time, and take care.
In all things, in all things, in all things, you're working